the right age to dye your child's hair? Tori Spelling got a load of backlash for posting this photo of her 8-year-old with purple hair. Is that too young? Is that just fine? What do we think about it? Yeah.
You know, I have a problem with it, and here's the problem, that hair dye goes straight to the scalp, and it can get into the bloodstream. And I don't know what kind of hair dye is being used, but I'm not putting that on my kid. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
What if it was like sprayed on just like the outs, like you know they have those temporary
off scalp
sprays?
or the temporary stuff?
Yeah, are you still
Halloween stuff, you mean?
Yeah, those kinds of ways.
But there's chemicals, right? I don't like the idea of chemicals on hair and kids who are still growing, and then they're smelling it.
What about hairspray and gel?
That's another thing altogether, right? Like, I don't know. My kids don't use hairspray and gel.
I'm actually totally okay with this. I don't know why everyone's freaking out.
But you're so all natural.
I am not all natural, Marcy.
The products that you use. You're hilarious. The products that you use, you don't want.
We were talking about different
fragrance
things.
And
got it. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Well, no, the funny thing is, I looked at this and I said, you know, people freak out all the time when parents, especially when it comes to girls. But also, I'm more concerned about, like, here's the thing. If that bothers you, then you should be equally outraged if you're seeing young girls or babies walking around with pierced ears.
Why? Make that connection for me.
Because you're putting holes into your child's body? Like, if you're really outraged about child welfare and you think that hair dye is just going to ruin this child for life, then what about piercing a 6-month-old ear?
Is that a health issue?
I'm just saying. I mean, I think one is way worse than the other. If, like, I'm guessing the 8-year-old begged. If they're anything like my daughter, probably begged Tori Spelling, Mom, please let me dye my hair. Please let me dye my hair.
Hold on, you're saying that chemicals possibly going into the bloodstream is the same as piercing a kid's ears?
No, well, you're putting holes into a child's body,
but how
and
is
often
that
against their will. That's what I'm saying. I say this because my daughter has been begging me to dye her hair forever.
Okay.
And I actually wouldn't have a problem with it, except that she changes her mind on her favorite color about every 6 hours. And so instead, we bought clip-in hair extensions, which are almost the same color.
Okay, that's a great idea.
So we put these in all the time. But even if she's like, you know, and everybody's like, well, what about like damaging her hair? I'm like, look at her mother. Like, I've been dyeing my hair since I was 12. I'm good with that. And I just think that if they really, really want it, what a beautiful way to be creative. Be more concerned if this child is getting fed well, is loved at home, is happy.
Yeah, of course,
It's hair dye.
I know, but and I agree. Listen, I'm all for encouraging children to express themselves. And I currently have a 6.5-year-old son who wears his hair long. He refuses to get it cut. He looks like often like the bad kid at school. Like, I worry sometimes that, like, that's, especially when he goes to school and he's wearing like black and his leather jacket. I'm like, oh, you're that kid that everyone's gonna say, that's the bad kid, just based on the way he looks. But it's his self-expression. He feels really comfortable with it, and I want to encourage that because, again, it's not harmful. I remember coming home when I was probably 16 years old with my nose pierced. Oh, my parents did not like at all. And the thing is that you have to, in these, whatever ways you can find, like, remember back in the day, there were rules around, did your parents tell you that you could only wear makeup at a certain age?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what's your
I think
feeling
I was
about
like
that?
15
Okay, so 15 before that. So would you let Blaze wear makeup?
A little bit.
A little bit?
She does her brows.
Okay.
She wears a bit of lip gloss.
And what if Blaze came to you now? So you'd say at this age, would
She's 15.
You'd let her do a hair dye or whatever. Would you let
hair dye, I don't know about the hair dye.
How about piercing her nose?
You know what? I have to say, I kind of like that.
Oh,
I like that. Like, I'm a woman. I've got tattoos, Sin.
How about a tattoo, Mars?
Not now.
Okay, all right.
Not now.
All right.
21 for a tattoo.
Interesting.
21 for a tattoo. But maybe.